Good morning, ladies. Thanks for joining me. Today's talk is going to be about derailment, from derailment to thriving. And just a little bit before we get started, I'm still not all the way into my place. So I'm in the business center right now. And I got me a nice new mug here from my favorite coffee place, or a canister for water. So thanks for joining me live today. And I'm so looking forward today. The internet, my Wi-Fi, all of the equipment shows up, so I'll be able to put that together and then you'll be able to see my place a little bit better. So yeah, thanks for joining me live. Derailment to thriving. It's wonderful weather here in Texas. It's like in the mid 70s, sunny, and it is breezy. It's beautiful here. The nighttime temperatures are about 50. And I am looking forward to, from the 3 young men who came to move me in, they said that there are 3 winters, 3 seasons of winter and 3 seasons of summer. So I have no idea what they're talking about, but I'm looking forward to understanding what that is. And I was here when it was 106 degrees this last season, when I was here checking out Texas for my relocation. So anyway, hope you're having a really great day today, and thank you for joining me live. And you know, one of the things, I am a former U.S. Marine. I was a logistics officer, and I left as a captain. And one of the things that I hold near and dear to myself is I have great integrity. And I also walk the walk, and I talk the talk, and I do what I say, and my actions match my words. And I'm a kind of moderately high confident person just from my background. And I really don't have a lot of fear. I mean, I do have fear. I think everybody has fear. I think that there is a general fear that we all have in life. But in general, you know, I am very high integrity, and I just really run my life like that. And, you know, it's actually sometimes gotten me in trouble with people because they hold me, not only do I hold myself to a high standard, other people hold me to that standard as well sometimes. And so that can be a double-edged sword with having such high standards. Now, I don't expect that out of other people that I'm in relationship with, but it's just me, what I'm intrinsic, me as a person, me as a coach, me as a small business owner, me in the community, me in relationship. I just really want to do my best. And since 2010, I was a personal trainer, a nutritional therapist, and a yoga teacher, and I primarily worked inside a small boutique gym, and I helped the 40-plus woman lose weight, get back in touch with herself, develop life skills, to develop that self-love for herself, and to explore new self-care practices. You know, typically they were moms, or they were women who were coming up on a big birthday, 40. That was always a good time to get into personal training. Also coming up on the big 50 birthday. Or sometimes they went to the doctor and they didn't get the results that they were looking for. They may be pre-diabetic. They might have been dealing with a knee injury, or they're having to get a knee replacement. And so that's a space that I really like to work in, is in a small gym in person. And, you know, I also had relationships outside of the gym as well with other wellness people. And so I would do yoga teaching at other boutique wellness places like Bliss Wellness up in La Center. And I would do things in the park or the community or whatever. And that just I really primarily coached women. Hey, Melissa. I really coached women primarily in the 40-plus demographic. And I love that space. There just is, you know, a space where we come to love ourselves later in life. And I love being part of that journey to help usher in new self-care practices, to usher in new nutritional therapy ideas that can help with different things like allergies and depression and anxiety and a whole host of other things that you might be navigating and these women navigated. And, I really enjoyed getting to know these women. And, then the pandemic hit. And, from all of that, 2020 was really tough on a lot of us. And that really took a two-year cycle. And my position was downsized in the gym. And, I was in the middle of my coming out, the middle of my divorce healing. And I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do? And, I'm always adaptable and I like to grow and I'm an overcomer. So I took this opportunity to go from being an in-person personal trainer, nutritional therapist, being a yoga teacher, and just being a life coach and just like loving helping people get back to health and wellness and sleeping better and feeling better about themselves, losing some weight, and just really having that self-love and connection with themselves and alignment with themselves. And so I was figuring, I could take my successful personal training business from the gym and I could adapt that into the virtual training space and get into virtual coaching. And, I think that my skills lend itself for that. And so let's put my toe in the water for that. And, I was thinking, how do I really do that? And, there was nobody in my space that I knew that was a virtual coach. And there wasn't any like courses that helped. The Chamber of Commerce was of no help. I reached out to them. And so I ended up doing some research and I was like, well, okay, I have had personal trainers in the past and I love working with somebody to help me be a better person because they have such a unique perspective and they think differently from me. So I always need to have a little bit of a kickstart, and be like, oh, have you thought about this? And, I'm an overthinker. So no, I hadn't thought about that. I'm only in my brain. So I really enjoy partnering with people. I love my personal trainer. I had him for about 2 years and I lost like over 25 pounds. And I'm so thankful for the lessons that Dennis taught me. But in this space of going from being a personal trainer in a gym to then going to have my own virtual coaching business, I really felt like I needed to have my own coach. So I sought out my first virtual business coach was a lady. And we really started down the whole path of she had a coaching business. She was going to teach me the ins and outs. She was going to help me do my webpage and help me with some of my program objectives. I already had a draft that I was putting together, but I really, wanted to make sure that that was a framework that I could use for virtual coaching. And she really helped me to get all of the pieces together for my first offer, which was I help women heal from toxic relationships. And she was a wonderful coach, and I was with her for about 6 months. And we got my website up and running. I was developing some video skills. I had launched my YouTube channel. And at that point, I was really adamant about not being on Facebook. And I'm not really one for social media. And I still struggle with social media. I think that there's a great benefits to it, but there's also a great negative, especially if you're codependent. And the viewpoint is always looking in comparison to others. And I think social media really has taken hold and promoted a negative consequence in this day and age because we're always trying to compare to others. And it's really a hard space to be in to put boundaries around it. But nonetheless, at that time, I was only on YouTube and I had launched my channel. I was doing videos. I was feeling really confident. I was getting traction. In fact, I have over 700 subscribers now on my YouTube channel. And I'm so thankful and grateful for my first virtual coach that I had. She was in California. I learned a lot of stuff to her. But the real crux of the matter was she was really pushing me to go spend an inordinate amount of money out on YouTube to go promote myself. And we're not talking, I mean, we're talking to the tune of like $25,000 to $30,000 out on YouTube. She had spent that much in her first year of marketing. And, you know, I'm not made of money and I'm not a Microsoft millionaire and I haven't won the lottery, because if I did, we'd be doing some big things with that. And I think I've shared that with you all, is that I would start a nonprofit to help women and men heal from narcissistic abuse. I would take $88 million right off the bat and go put that into a foundation so that I could help fund 1 year of each person's healing. They could be off the grid and have all their expenses paid. But nonetheless, that hasn't happened, and I'm not rich, and I got really wrapped around the axle about having to spend money on ads in order to get clients that soon out of the gate. And I just kind of felt like that was a big jump for me. And I know she was pushing me, but that was way big of a jump and expenditure that I wasn't ready to do at that time. So I again started looking around, is there any courses that I could take like that would help promote my coaching business, my virtual coaching business online? And I did a lot of research on all of that, and I wanted to grow in small, steady buckets. I wanted it to be organic. I wanted it to be personable. And, you know, I'm not one much for all of these influencer models. And I didn't really want to be that. I don't want to be one of those big influencer models. I just want to help women heal after toxic relationships. And I wanted to grow in small, sustainable buckets. And I knew deep down that I needed more marketing and sales training than what this current coach offered. So I had kind of outgrown what she was able to do, and I needed to help myself in this next space. So I was led to an organization, and this organization really helps coaches, health and wellness coaches, relationship coaches, love coaches, a lot of well-meaning coaches just like myself. This organization attracts those type of coaches who want to make an impact in this world by helping others be better. Like we want to help develop the person who is unshakable, who's powerful, who knows who they are, to go out and just help more people. There's so many people struggling with so many things in this world, and there are wonderful coaches out there that can help move people forward. And right now, there is a shortage of therapists. And in my understanding, in my belief, there is great road for a therapist and a coach to ride alongside each other. And so right now, I've just been hearing over and over, all over the place, is that there's a shortage of therapists. I can't get in for 6 months. I can't get in for 4 months. And I think we're really on the precipice of a huge mental health crisis. We are right in the middle of it. You know, we see it out in society. And there are just so many people who are struggling right now. And what if there were more integrity coaches out there that could handle some of this load until people can get into a therapist or make some inroads to move forward in their life without having to wait for the therapist to have availability? And on top of it, a lot of therapists right now are burned out. They are retiring in droves. I know of at least 5 therapists in the last year that have tendered their resignation and are no longer coaching because they're burned out and they were at retirement age. So they're just like done with it. So, you know, I was really intrigued about this organization that could help coaches like myself move forward with their virtual coaching business. And they were very structured in marketing and sales practices and techniques. I did a discovery session with them. I did a clarity call. I did a sales call. And I was really impressed with the structure, and I was really impressed with the community. And that's something that has really helped me in my healing, is being in a community of other people. I get to see what others are thinking, what they're doing, and I get to try that on. And also whatever I'm doing, they can try that on. And so I think that's a really powerful dynamic to have both structure, have some learning modules where you can learn and grow. You can also be in a community where you can ask questions and also interact with other coaches. And, for me, I wanted to learn Facebook. I had finally decided, okay, I'm going to be on Facebook. And I decided to make that big jump by being on Facebook. And I wanted to learn the grassroots of marketing and also marketing of Facebook and Instagram. And I needed to understand the whole dynamic behind selling out online in an integrated way. And I really was attracted to this organization because how they did it seemed to me at the time to be very integrated, and I really wanted to go all in with my online coaching business. So I invested in myself in an 8-week program, which I really loved the 8-week program. I got so much out of it. So much sales and marketing advice, how to set up a Facebook group, how to, post content, how to do some ads, some other things like that. So at the end of the 8-week program, I, felt that there was great value from what I invested in the program. And so I was getting some traction. I was starting to get a lot of ladies in this group. I was starting to gain many followers on my YouTube channel. And I was really gaining great traction at the end of the 8 weeks. And I didn't really want to lose momentum. So I signed up for their more advanced program, which went for a whole year. And I did all of that starting in January. Excuse me for a second. And I was excited. A lot of the same coaches that I had been with for the first 8 weeks were following on, and they were continuing on in this 1-year program. And, again, I was very passionate about helping women in the healing after divorce, separation, narcissistic abuse, and about helping women heal after toxic relationships. And that really was my initial offer. I had it with my first coach, and I had it all the way through a large portion of this second part of this coaching program. And I was all in with their protocols. I'd never really heard about mindset. I was more, I started with their journaling every day. I started with fear journaling. I started with all of their mindset protocols, and I never missed a mindset call. I love those mindset calls, and I really do believe that there is great strength in changing your mindset, and understanding the subconscious part of what's tripping you up in your healing cycle. And we can always do little tweaks to that. And so I love mindset work. And, but I also was noticing that I started the program in January, and in February and March, I was starting to get really emotionally dysregulated. And you ladies saw a lot of that in the group. My speech started to be impacted. I had a hard time flowing videos. In fact, I had a lot of there are a lot of teleprompter modules and stuff like that. And I really couldn't put I had no short-term memory when all of this was going on, and it was getting worse and worse and worse. And part of me was thinking, okay, I'm doing something new. I'm probably building skills. So, this is probably part of the process. So I was giving myself compassion, but it kept getting worse as the time went on that I was in this program. And I also thought maybe I do have some fears about an online coaching. And maybe I do have some fears around putting my story out there. And maybe I do have some fears about letting everybody see the inside of Denise. So I was okay, I am pretty much an open book, but there are also some things that I think can be harmful out on social media if people know that about you. But I'm learning, there's ways to get around that. But again, I was in this advanced program for starting in January, and I started to have, my speech was impacted. I was very emotionally dysregulated. I really couldn't do very much stuff during the day. I would be able to do 2 or 3 things. And I just was okay, I'm kind of bogged down with this. I'm starting to talk to my point coach. I have like a meeting with my point coach like every 2 weeks. And I'm in these meetings with other coaches, and I'm just having to develop new skills. And that's what they're kind of sharing with me. You've got to build some new skills. You need to step out of your comfort zone. You need to do these challenges, everything else. So I was doing everything that the coaching organization had asked me to do. And 5 months into the program, I was really sharing with them how my offer, helping women heal from toxic relationships, was really emotionally challenging. That a lot of women that I was talking to it was just emotionally draining. And I do know how to protect my energy, but there was just this heaviness about trying to move people, women specifically, who've been in terrible narcissistically abusive relationships, to hear all of their dynamics. And it's terrible, the stories that are out there that happen in romantic relationships. And so, I was really bogged down with it, and I went to my point coach, and then I ended up having to talk to the CEO about my offer. And 5 months into the program, the first big red flag happened for me. And I was telling them that I was bogged down with my offer, and he shared with me, the CEO, "We've never had a coach be successful with your offer." And I was like, oh my God, like I've been here for 5 months. I've already paid you for the first part of my program. And now you're telling me 3 months into this second program, 5 months in, that my offer has never been successful. And I was like, well, why did you let me run with this offer if you never thought it was be successful? And they're like, well, you were so passionate that maybe you might be the one to crack the nut on this one. And I was like, wow, there was no caveat. There was no like, hey, Denise, we've helped, they tout, we've helped 1,000 coaches in this coaching program. And no one ever shared with me, hey, we've never really seen this. We're going to let you run for a bit. And if it gets really heavy, then we'll help you find another offer. So to me, that was a lie of omission. That was the first big red flag for me. I'm paying all this money. You guys are experts in the coaching space. You help people with their offers, and you help us with marketing and sales. And you're telling me now that you've never had anyone be successful with my specific offer. So anyway, and I'm like, well, what do I do from here? And they're like, well, you just change your offer. So that's when I came into Find True Love. And I did not really feel comfortable with that offer. And they were saying, everybody, find true love, that'll be like the next big thing. You'll attract so many people with that. And I was like, I really couldn't get there with Find True Love. The only way I could do it was find true love by stopping dating. That kind of fit me. So I tried that on. I'm like, these guys are the experts. I'm going to do what they're suggesting I do. They know more about this than I do. And so I ran with this. And it was really all about me fitting into their program and using their framework. There was no customization for me to meet my own needs. There was no remedial action for me to understand what was going on with myself. And no one from the coaching organization, like we had weekly mindset calls, and I was more and more emotionally dysregulated, which was new for me. When I left my marriage, I was emotionally shut down. And now on the flip side, I'm like crying everywhere. And we're not just talking like a little bit of tears. We're talking a lot of tears on conference calls with like 20 and 30 coaches. At no time after any of those calls did any of the coaching organization ever reach out to me. And I was really literally melting down on these calls. And a few other coaches started reaching out to me, and I felt safe to share what was going on with me. And, in my mind, I'm thinking there are these experts who have this framework, who helped 1,000 coaches like myself start making money and attracting clients and being successful online. But my body was saying something different. My body was giving off trauma response. It was crying. I was crying. My body was in, fight or flight on a lot of those calls. And my body was telling me this was not a safe environment, yet I had kind of put that as being, I'm fearful on all of this. And that's what the coaching organization also was saying. You've got a mindset issue, you've got fear issues, you've got all of this going on, which only fed into more fear and more dysregulation. And then I was like, okay, if this is going on with me, I started to talk to other coaches about the mindset protocols. And a few of us totally stopped the mindset protocols altogether. And within a week, my confidence went back to normal before I was even in this program. Like, I would say my confidence level at this time was probably a 1 or 2. And I was really struggling with videos. I was really struggling to piece thoughts together. My short-term memory was shot at this point. And after I stopped everything, my confidence skyrocketed. My videos went well. I had more energy. I was doing amazing things in the group. But then my red flag number 2 happened. I shared in a call with the CEO that I felt that these protocols were detrimental and that they were contraindicated for people who have a history of trauma in their background. And that's what I'm all about. I'm a trauma-informed coach. Like, I know how trauma comes out in personal training. I know how trauma comes out under life stresses. I know how trauma comes out when you're trying to rest in Shavasana or doing a relaxing pose that seems relaxing, but then tears and trauma and other things come out. And I was just sharing with him on this call that some of these protocols may be contraindicated and judgmental to some of the coaches who may have a history of trauma in their background. And he was very dismissive about it. And I basically did call out these protocols, and I said that they were not trauma informed. And after that, because of the way that he responded, he really said, oh, well, anybody who's going through trauma, you need to do ayahuasca, and you need to also think about medicinal psychedelic mushrooms. And, again, that's cool guy. That's cool guy stuff to go do that. Trauma healing takes a lot more than just going on medicinal mushrooms and going to an ayahuasca retreat. And don't get me wrong, I think both of those are components and layers that can be very helpful, but those aren't the end all be all to trauma healing, and I thought that response was very misinformed, and I felt very dismissed after that. And I took 6 weeks off from the program at that point after that interaction, and I still had my offer. I help women find true love by stopping dating. And I did kind of feel like a farce, like I was false with that offer. It never really gelled with me. I was trying to make it work, but there just was a misalignment with me because it's not about finding that true love. I don't think I can even promise that to you. And I ran some ads, and I had all these women in their 60s like send messages to me like, help me find a man. And it was all about, putting those two pieces together. Like, in order for them to be whole, and I think there's some women that believe that in order to be whole, I have to find another person. I need these people to fix and meld with me in order to be whole. And so I just was really sad with a lot of these people coming to me and be like, yeah, I want to find a man. And I don't want to be a dating coach. I know I do have components in my program that do evolve around dating because I think there's some good protective practices that we need to have when we're out dating, but that's general life skill stuff. And I don't want to be a full-on dating coach, and I don't want to be a love matcher like that. I think that there's other people who are great for that. And I'm at the deep level. I am not a superficial coach. I have a lot of layers to me, and that just felt very superficial to me. And again, when I took that 6 weeks off from the program, my confidence skyrocketed for me. My speech patterns were back to normal. I had more energy. I was doing self-care. I was reading. I was doing a lot of self-care and just trying to figure out what was really going on with me, and starting to talk to more coaches and taking time off. And so red flag number 3 for me is I get a new point coach. The other one left the organization, and I get a new point coach. And on a coaching call, my confidence level is like a 9, and I'm back into Denise. Like, this is awesome. And I'm like, I got this. I know exactly how I want to do this. And I had now had my new offer, which is Be Your Own True Love. And that just really, for me, trips on so many buzzers and really gets at what I do. I help you to be your own true love. I help you to ground into self-love. I help you develop life skills. I help you to develop health and wellness and self-care practices. And that's truly what I'm passionate about, is empowering you as a person and not needing anybody else. So on this third red flag showed up when I was on a coaching call with my point coach. And I said, hey, I'm, at the beginning of every meeting, they're like, where's your confidence? I'm like, I'm a 9.5. And well, how is your focus? How's your faith in your business? How's your effort in your business? And I said, well, it's a 10. Like, I know what I'm putting effort and time into. And at this point, after I had changed to Be Your Own True Love, just everything was flowing for me. And it just got really clear. And I hadn't been in the coaching program at all. So I finally had 2 weeks that I'm in the coaching program after 6 weeks off. And my point coach says to me, and it just like disconnected eye contact, looked away, wasn't speaking to me, gave me some silent treatment for a bit, and was like, well, I don't know if you're really seeing reality, with a 10-point confidence level. Like, if you came in at a 3.5 or a 4-point confidence level, then, we could get to work and we can fix the things that are not working. And at that moment, I said, so you're telling me that I'm not really seeing my reality with all of this, that you're only going to work with me if I have a low confidence score. And when I'm confident, that means I'm not seeing reality. And, the coach never really responded to that. And at that time, I just felt very gaslit. And I was like, no bueno, I'm done with this. And right then and there, I knew that I needed to be out of the coaching program. And I had spent 6 weeks out, was very confident, 2 weeks in, and then my third red flag. So I decided to leave. And I ended up working a deal with the coaching organization. I left. I had actually fully paid for the whole year. And they didn't want to give me a refund at that time. And I advocated for myself. I'm just like, I really need to have out of this. I'm having some medical issues and I really need to be out. And so at that point, I was done with the coaching organization, and I still felt like I needed to speak my truth. And I was just really figuring out how to do all that. And I ended up in someone else, actually another coach, had created some space where I could speak my truth in a Facebook group. And so I did that. And it really opened the door for me to speak my truth and to have a one-on-one with the CEO and also with his customer service representative. And again, this CEO is a $9 million figurehead at a coaching organization. And he has toutedly 1,000 coaches that have gone through the program and supposedly have been successful. And at this point, I'm headed out of the coaching organization. I have no refund, but now I have spoken my truth in a Facebook group where the post was actually taken down. And that to me was kind of the last straw. They're telling us, if you have bad feedback, go ahead and keep it up and put words around it, respond to it in a positive way, but always keep that up. Well, in this group, there was none of that. This is 1,000 coaches in this group, and there's a negative feedback about the coaching organization that quite a few coaches had started to put there, and this whole thread had been taken down. So that's kind of red flag for me. You know, the actions and the words aren't meeting up. But what that did for me is that whole post was taken down, but I did have an opportunity to meet with the CEO one-on-one. And I had plenty of time. They were trying to get the meeting together really fast. And I just needed to slow the process down as I got back into body, as I got back into my thoughts, and as I got back into just what was really the issue for me. And so it ended up being like a 2-week horizon where we finally could meet with the CEO. And the other thing is that, you know, being in this space, I'm aware of how people show up, and I knew that they wanted to create an artificial time speedness to this meeting. So everything has to be done within a half an hour. And not only did I not want to be pressured, I asked for more time for this meeting. I wanted to have a 45-minute meeting, and if it ran short, fine, but I did not want to have to fit into their half-hour bucket. So I had time, and that last meeting was at the end of September. And I had my points in which I wanted to get across to this organization. And I wanted to advocate for changes within the program. I wanted them to consider adding some trauma-informed components to the program, also some changes around mindset and their protocols for that, and also to have a person that you could go to if you were having problems within the organization that would help be an intermediary for the coach and the coaching organization and the program. I didn't feel that there was anybody who was safe for that. So despite my harm, I still wanted to meet with the CEO and advocate for changes within the program. And red flag number 4, they said the CEO was going to be there and his customer representative was going to be there. And the CEO didn't even show up for the call, even though he committed to being on that call. And even though I made sure when they tried to have the meeting just with the customer service representative, that I said, no, I would like to have the CEO present. So he couldn't even be bothered to come on a call where one of his coaches was going to give constructive feedback about the program to him to what she's actually trained in and everything else. And he still didn't show up. So again, this CEO is a $9 million figurehead of a coaching organization. So hashtag shit you didn't learn in high impact coaching is a hashtag I would like to use. And he didn't give a flying fuck about me. And I don't think he really gives a crap about other coaches like myself who really care about people. And his protocols and some of the things are great, but a lot of them actually take us offline. And I lost 10 months in my coaching business. And he's really about making a dollar. And they shared strategically that they were launching a 3-year trauma-informed program during this meeting. And I'm saying, hell no. If any coach is going to think about going to do their trauma-informed program, I say hashtag hell no, that they shouldn't do that because these people are not trauma-informed whatsoever. And that is the new buzzwords in a lot of programs now, is to be trauma-informed. And that's something that I've always been the last 5 years, is trauma-informed. And so, yeah, they're going to capitalize upon trauma-informed for another coaching program to help other health and wellness coaches. So anyway, I say hell no. But nonetheless, I don't want to make this about the coaching organization, but there were some hurts for me that I got out of alignment with myself and my ideals. And that really caused some of my dysregulation, my emotional dysregulation. And it also caused some of my trauma responses, that my own ideals of integrity and my actions meeting my words, and also my walking the walk and talking the talk. As I got into that new offer that they were suggesting and supporting me in, then I got more and more out of alignment with myself. And that just caused a complete kind of derailment in my life, in my mental health, in my spiritual health, in my physical health. And I don't believe in shiny objects or magic pills. And I still, knowing all this, went down a path with this organization because they really said, we're going to help you as a coach move forward to helping more people. So I bought into their marketing in regards to that. And I was like incredibly emotionally dysregulated. And I had trauma responses to the program that I thought was helping me. And so all of that was going on. And I had to turn to my own nutrition, get back to basics, because I had gotten into a terrible eating loop with emotional eating. I had discovered some CBD bath bombs, which I think were awesome. I did a lot of journaling. I did a lot of feeling my feels. I have so much love and self-compassion for myself, and I check in with what I needed, and I knew I needed to leave that program. And I knew I needed to leave sooner than when I actually took the opportunity to, but I also felt like I was tied to the money that I invested in. And at the end, I was like, you know what? I'm willing to lose this money, that this is really impacting me. And the other thing is that I really put into play a lot of life skills. I slowed down the interactions with the coaching organization. I knew that they were trying to speed things up to get things closed out, but I was slowing down the interactions to be very paced and measured with my interactions with them. So I knew that how I was communicating them came from a really grounded place. I was very assertive in asking for what I needed. The coaching organization offered me a very low ball refund, and I advocated for a higher level refund, which I had originally asked for when I terminated the program. And so they did honor that. I spoke my truth. I set boundaries. I was courageous during this time period. And I had wonderful communication, like my brain was just firing on all cylinders. And my body and my mind gravitated to coaches who were friendly to me, that I knew were safe. And there were others that are in it just for the buck. And, you know, that's just something that our bodies do know who's safe. And that's something to always be aware of, who you're attracted to and why, and who you're repelled by and why. And the other thing is that I had an amazing inner circle of other fellow coaches that were inside the program. I got to talk about what happened. We got to debrief. They asked me questions. They offered new frameworks for me to get my head around. There were a lot of redirects. There was understanding and empathy. And that is not something that I've ever had in my life working through a major challenge. And so I just want to say kudos to those coaches who came alongside, that they helped tip the balance. I had my own piece to do with healing in this, but inner circle, it really makes a difference when you have someone who's empathetic and understanding, who has experience, who can talk to those things that you're working through and ask questions and get clarity. It was so quick for me to be able to move through that. And again, my last interaction with the coaching organization was 9/25, September 25th. And here we are 3 weeks later, and look at how clear I'm talking. Look at how clear I'm grounded. Look at how clear I am, like just emotionally and everything else, and connection and speech pattern. I'm back. And there were gains. I love myself. I love myself even more having navigated this. And I can do hard things. And, you know, part of this, there were some wins too that happened in this organization. It's not all good or bad. I got the confidence to move to Texas. You know, I probably wouldn't have done that if I wasn't in this coaching organization, seeing other coaches move. And, you know, I'm doing things that are way outside my comfort zone, like this big, long video. And I'm speaking my truth, and my confidence level is high. And, you know, having those coaches on the inner circle, that really made the biggest difference, that they knew how to navigate this with me, and I allowed them to navigate with me, and that's where the value is at. Don't get me wrong, I spent a lot of money in this program, and what was promised and what was sold to me, I didn't get that. And I believe in be your own true love. It's really at the core of healing after divorce, after separation, after narcissistic abuse. And that's where the true healing is when you are aligned with yourself. You will have boosted self-confidence, regulated moods. You'll be able to speak. You'll be assertive. You'll be bold. You'll be communicative. You'll be setting boundaries. You'll be speaking your truth. That's where the true healing is when you get to that place of being your own true love. And I've learned a lot in this whole process. It actually was kind of like my thesis project for my life. But in a way, I had all the components. I had myself and I had an inner circle that was supportive. And I knew all the tips and tricks, the self-care, the life skills, the self-love, the journaling, all the different things that I needed to do. I pulled myself out of that. And I am a different coach. I'm a different coach from many other people. I am trauma informed. I know through that lens how trauma comes out in people. I know what trauma responses look like, although I may have had a problem with myself because that was a new space I was in. But I can see that with other people when I'm sitting across from the monitor from them or on a call or whatever. I know what that looks like, what it feels like, what it sounds like, and what it energetically feels like when somebody is in that space. And I hold space for clients in this space because trauma responses come out in many different ways when you're under pressure, when you're at stress, when you're in these interactive, terrible, antagonistic environments, either at work with family or friends. And I have compassion for people who are navigating all this, who want to be all that they want to be. And I have a coaching framework of self-love, life skills, and self-care that my coaching is responsive and it's customizable to you. My coaching isn't, you're going to do my program and there's nothing else outside of that. My program becomes a framework, and I'm a different level coach because I meet you where you're at. And I see where you're at. If you have a lot of health and wellness knowledge, we take you to advanced level of all of that, and we speak at a higher level with that. But I meet you where you're at. I meet you today, what you're dealing with today, and I customize around you. I am that coach. I have nutritional therapy, I have certified personal training, yoga teacher, and life skills, and all the things that I know about trauma responses and narcissistic abuse and passive aggressiveness. I know a lot of things to be of a great asset to anybody who needs my services. And, I focus and customize around you. I'm not having you fit into my program. I meet you where you're at. And that's the benefit of working with someone like myself. I have great skills that I haven't even talked about in all of this, that there are other resources, that would blow your mind with all of that, but it's too much to share with everybody. But I am a powerhouse and I have a unique skill set that I'm not a high pressure salesperson. And I just want to help you. I want to help you be the best person possible, to be powerful, to love yourself, to be enough, to be unstoppable, and to be unshakable when pressure and trauma and other things push in on you. I want you to be your best. And I will check in with you as a person. And I don't ever, and when I do touch base with you, it's because I care. It comes from my heart, and it's not about a sales process. And I know you guys get a lot of DMs and you get a lot of things with all of that. But for me, when I reach out, it's because I truly care. I don't want something from you. If you want something from me, you have to DM me. If you want services, you know how to get in touch with me. And you need to make the first step. But I am here if you need it. And, my last interaction with the coaching organization was at the end of September. And here I am. It's 10/18. And I am a walking testimonial of the effectiveness of my program. I walked myself out of that in such a short period of time that my program works. And I would be that inner circle for you. Just like I had other coaches, I'm a coach and I have other coaches that I interact with that could be resources to you if you needed that too. There's other people that I'm in relationship with that can be of great resource. And you may not have a trusted inner circle, but I'd be part of that trusted inner circle that will help you sift through all the stuff you've got going on in your life. And I do it without judgment. We all have shit going on that has happened to us and is still going on in our life, but I do it in a non-judgmental way and a helpful way to be that kickstarter to get you going and get you moving forward in life. I love myself completely. I don't need anyone else. And I've proven that. This whole move, I haven't needed anybody else. I've hired out for services, but I did it all myself. I got to this place all on my own. I am enough. And I'm unshakable. I really, for the first time in my life, I feel, when I said it, I always had a hard time saying, I am enough. I would cry every single time. And I am enough. I finally know it. I know that I can do this. I can do life on my own. I have resources. I can do this. I have mindsets, life skills, self-love, self-care. I know how to do it all. And I'm here. And you know who to DM if you need some help. And if you want to get started, I'm here for you. And, if you want to completely love yourself, I'm the person that can help you do that. If you want to navigate life without needing anyone, I can help you do that. And if you want to be enough and really know it in your mind, body, spirit, I can help you do that. And the whole thing about me, I am a coach, but I also have a program where I get you on the rails of life. I get you hooked in. And as you start walking, then we start advancing. And you're walking on your own. It's just like a baby who's learning to crawl and then walk. And you walk unaided. And I'm here for resources. When I coach, I actually coach so that I'm working myself out of a job as you gain confidence. And that's the way my program is all structured. So in closing, if you need help, you have to make the first step. But I'm here and my program works. And I just wanted to be vulnerable and open about what has happened the last 10 months. And I'm really sorry if there's anything, if I had a call with you or whatever and you felt uncomfortable or whatever. I just want to say I'm sorry with all of that. I was learning some new things. And if there was something that you were offended by or whatever else, I just want to extend a heartfelt I'm sorry. And what I do want to share is that these things are going to happen. Even though you've healed and done work, we are going to be in relationship with antagonistic, high conflict personalities. We're going to find them in dating. We're going to find them in friendships. We're going to find them in business relationships. And the whole thing is having skills and taking action to move through all that. And once you have that, nobody can take that away from you. And that's what I'm all about with all of this. These types of things are going to happen, and you have to have skills to get back on your feet. And in all of this, I have cleared more people from my inner circle, and it didn't exactly feel bad. In fact, one night I was talking to what I considered was my best friend, and I said, I don't know why I'm here. And she talked to me that night, and she didn't get in touch with me for 10 weeks. For 10 weeks, she couldn't even reach out to her best friend to ask if I was okay, to ask if I needed anything or whatever else. And you know what? She's not my best friend anymore. And I'm okay with that. I need people who are mutually responsive and engaged and who want to be in my life where we have a two-way street. It's not a one-way street. And life is hard, and you do need people, and you need a supportive inner circle. And as a coach, I would be part of your inner circle for a period of time. And I just want to let you know that that is possible. So again, this is me being true form in just all of who I am. And I really do have a heart for women who are in healing after divorce, separation, or narcissistic abuse. And you do know who to get in contact with. And I appreciate you being in this group and interacting with me. And yeah, it's been a really big learning opportunity for me. And thank you for coming along for the journey. And yeah, I look forward to carrying on the conversation later this week and seeing you in the group. And if you need anything, again, you can DM me, you can ask me questions, whatever you're curious about. I'm an open book. And again, if I do reach out, it's from my heart. It's not for a sales opportunity, but there is a self-care challenge going on now. Feel free if you want to come aboard. It's all focused on health and wellness for the next 30 days. And who doesn't really need a more focus on health and wellness? So join in, jump aboard. There's a link now, which I did yesterday on my computer. There's a link to the sign up page to give your email. That's the only thing I need is email, because there are some things that I would like for you to have that I can't post in Facebook. There are some tips and tricks and some forms and different things that can help you for the start of the challenge. So that's why I need your email address. And anyway, I hope you ladies have a really good time. This took a lot longer than I was anticipating, but I am confident. I feel really good about where I'm at. I love Texas. I'm aligned at this point, and I hope you can feel the energy as well, just as I do. I am like beaming with positive energy, with confidence, with just self-love, with everything else. And if you want a piece of that, you can DM me. So I hope you have a really great day. Take care for those of you who have joined me live, and thank you again. Take care. Bye-bye.